Okay. So what I prepared today is not so much because I was really hoping that Kathleen will share, will have a fair share of this conversation together with me, but we'll see what happens. So why did we choose this subject? We've had numerous conversations with Kathleen online in the context of Three Sisters, in the context of my own work, in the context of Eternal Forest Project. And we decided that this is really good time to talk more about it and to really bring it into the light of consciousness. In my own practice and in my own life, this has been really a recurrent theme recently in the last few months, and it's been coming to me from many different directions. The great goddess appeared in many experiences when I worked in some parts of Portugal, through people, through books, through some articles, through some visions. But also plants started communicating with me more and more every time I go into my garden or I go into the forest. And I started opening even more to my intuitive way of working, which is, for me, I have to be honest, is a little bit hard because I'm very young. I mean, young as opposed to yin. So I'm very active and I'm very, like, as a matter, yeah, just kind of get things done. I love this way. But I realized that it would be really good to go deeper and maybe even to enter those closed doors, which, you know, which can offer some things, the spaces can offer some things that maybe I even have no idea what they are. And so this knowing intuitively, or letting to be known intuitively and being in the flow, for me is becoming more and more apparent and more important. And specifically in the context of the project Eternal Forest, which is taking its own turns and its own development, it's becoming more important to learn new ways of listening to nature, or maybe relearn the ways of listening to nature. And by that, I mean really active, deep listening and really letting go of things that we imagine, kind of structures that we put out there, how nature should behave or how things should be, and really observing. It also, for me, includes, especially in the context of Eternal Forest, observing over longer periods of time. And I never get tired repeating that, because I think in our society, in our culture, we really experience quite big difficulty in terms of short-term thinking as opposed to long-term thinking. And I feel it's really a powerful place where we are all now to step into that long-term thinking once again, and to really start thinking as they suggest in traditional cultures, 7 generations ahead at least. Hence, the motto of Eternal Forest Project is 1,000 Eternal Forest Sanctuaries for 1,000 years, or to be protected for 1,000 years. And the question is, of course, how do we do that? Taking into account that our planning goes maximum 30, 40, 50 years and so on. And with this, of course, I'm myself inviting guidance from nature and from the forest herself or himself. I'm not separating here. I don't have this kind of gender approach, but I like including she, her into that conversation, because I feel that has been suppressed and missing. And of course, today I'm not going deep into any kind of feminist narrative or context, but I'm sure all of you are incredibly aware of that, and each of you have been experiencing that in your own lives from one or another perspective. And today I wanted to share something with you which is quite new inside the context of the project itself. So you have behind me an artwork. I'm actually sitting right now in the desk of my husband, Victor. And this is the artwork that I gave to him as a present, because he asked me to write a poem for him as a birthday present. I wanted to experiment more with green color. I do a lot of monochromatic work, black and white or red and black. And he really encouraged me to go with the green. And it wasn't very easy because I'm really very minimal person also in terms of color. And when I made this work, then it was like another portal that opened for me. And I am going to share with you some artworks that are now part of the series of Eternal Forest and that came out of this work. But before doing that, I'm going to read you the poem, which is this work is based on. And I felt I didn't know exactly what I'm going to talk about and how I'm going to frame everything. But then I felt that maybe this is what wants to emerge, because I just also sent a copy of this artwork to an exhibition in Portugal, which I believe Ines is also part of. It's called SOS Arte in Forum de Maio, which is to take place in September, September this year, right? It will be some more information and online. So I sent one of these sketches, let's say, because this is really final work, and the one that went to the exhibition is more like a preliminary sketch. Now I want to read you the poem because I have a feeling that it really opens that door to tuning with the feminine. So here we go. It's called Gift of Your Heart. And this is what's written here in calligraphic form. So you might see some letters appearing. I see you, gifts that you are, toes, your roots, silky moss, moans softly. Life force moves between earth and sky. Through your palms, seeds of all plants, so light, hours beyond time, curly crown where sunset clouds dwell. After dark, throw back, seep star blossom, celestial dew streams down every hair, swirls down every leaf. Of those who drink, gift of your heart like no other. So when I finished the visual part of this work, I realized that perhaps there is something for me to discover and to go a little bit more in the direction of actually working with color green. And I would like to share a few new things with you. I'm going to share my screen. Let me see. Share screen. Okay. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can see my screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to present. So this is the artwork that you see behind me. It's one of the versions, and what I was interested in exploring a little bit more is inspired by the forest is the shades of green, of course, because when we go into a real biodiverse forest, we really experience the explosion of green. And when we start tuning into that richness of varieties of green, I think for me, it's incredibly inspiring, and it's basically endless. There is another thing in this piece that's quite obvious, is water. So I started working maybe a couple of years ago a lot with water, when I first put a lot of water on paper, and then I put the calligraphic work itself. So the water forms the direction of how the ink flows on the piece of paper, and of course there is also endless amount of ways one can play with it. And so from this artwork, I decided that I would like to take one of the poems that I wrote last year, and I decided to reimagine it as something that can be in the same way. Instead of black and white, it could be shades of green and maybe even shades of blue. And here I'm just showing you some of the experiments and some of the artworks. It's all work on paper. It's pretty much aquarelle paper, and the paints I use, they're based on aquarelles, different mineral colors. And here you see also, here you see different version of paper. This paper is becoming very
Yeah, are you still
structural.
charging? Can I have the charger?
Somebody has their microphone on. So I'm going to show you some of these examples. This is going to be a panel. I think there are 9 artworks together in one big panel. These are approximately 50 by 60 centimeters, maybe a little bit more. And this is a poem broken down in 2 or 3 words at the same time. And when you see the whole piece all together, it gives you like an impression of green gradually moving into blue, into a deeper blue, maybe blue of the water of the ocean. And this for me is also a way of connecting the growth, the greenery with that of the water, which I don't feel it's separate. There's quite a lot of times when I encounter conversations about trees or forests, but we never speak about the water itself. And this is something that Kathleen was supposed to talk a bit more today about, because she is very much connected with water, and she does various ceremonies and rituals connected with that. I'm going to read you the poem which this calligraphy is based on. And this is the poem that comes out of the cycle of Eternal Forest project from 2019. I have various cycles of poetry, and this is from 2019. Cut off an edge of time, release, let go, catch wind, descend, press down, under the surface, sink in, listen, into the roots, churn dirt, thrust for water. So I think the connotations here with kind of plant going down towards the water and catching that water and trying to reach water, I have a feeling that this connection with tuning into our feminine nature, there is this link there. And this is personally how I experience connecting with my own feminine nature. Sometimes it's not that easy. Sometimes it feels like an effort breaking through the hard or dry ground and going deeper at the same time as expanding. But what I also wanted to offer with this poem is that idea of unpartitioned time, the time that is fluid, the time that is recurrent, that is cyclical, that is circular, the serpent of time, the all different form, and the strata of time that we experience also when we actually talk about forests and when we go to the forest. So I would like to offer you, while we are perhaps, I don't know if Kathleen will join or not, but in any case, I would like to offer you, we are quite few today. I think we are 10 people only. So maybe I can do 3 breakout rooms so that we get to know each other a little bit more and we can spend some time together. Today we are not in a rush. We don't have that much information packed in one conversation. And maybe we take good 15 minutes together to really tune into each other, to hear each other's name, maybe where you are location wise. And my question to you that I'm bringing and offering to you today is, how do you experience yourself personally, this feminine nature recently? I would like to hear, and I would like you to share your recent experiences. And also in connection with nature, nature as, you know, nature is ecology, nature is forest, nature as wherever you are. And with this invitation, of course, I would love you to maybe go a little bit deeper if you can, and bring those experiences that might be encouraging, inspiring, empowering for others. But also, of course, remembering this kind of time period that we are in terms of now we're in the end of summer, but we've already went through this quite, I don't want to say silent, it was silent and not silent spring, but it was definitely a very different spring for Earth, but also for humanity. And how does it all connect for you, and how the feminine is coming through for you personally? So this is my offering, this is my question, and I'm going to try to do the breakout rooms now. It tells me I can do 3 with 3 participants per room, and I perhaps will join one of them. Is everybody okay with that? Is everybody ready? Thank you. Fantastic. So I'm going to do that. Great. I think you should receive invitation by now. Claudia, would you like to join one of the rooms? Okay, great. Hello. I decided to join your room because there were only 2 people.
I'm not sure. There we go.
So somebody would like to start.
I'll start.
Thank you.
I'll start. Okay. Let's see what I'm in southern Germany, so about an hour and a half south of Frankfurt. Let's see, how have I been experiencing? I've been really listening a lot, and I go out into nature for at least 3 hours a day, every day. Not since the beginning of the not lockdown, we had no lockdown, but not since the beginning of the stay at home, but somewhere in there I started it. And so, and I've been listening, and it's just an openness, I think, with no expectations. And what's interesting is that I can't say that I've actually heard the plants speak to me, but I have the sense that they call to me without there being any sound or anything. Every time I notice something, I feel like it actually called to me. I have that feeling that it called my attention to it. And so I've been wild harvesting some herbs, and it's very interesting because when a patch dries up, somehow I always find another one. And the last time it was a hare that brought me to this last patch. It was very interesting. So yeah, it's been very, very interesting. And the thing that I had been just thinking about is that I need to listen, and I just need to listen. So I've not actually been speaking that much, mostly listening and not making anything specific out of it. Just that's been my experience, and it's been lovely going out every day, the same, not exactly the same, but I pass the same trees all the time, and so I feel like they know me somehow now, because if you just pass them once or twice every week or month, for a tree, I think that's nothing. The trees and their deep time, I would love to spend hours with the tree. And I don't do that. I don't spend hours with a tree. Well, I have once, but I think they repeat it every day, and I always greet them when I pass them. So I'm walking down the street saying, hi, oh, hello. Luckily, there are not that many other people here, so I don't get too many strange looks. Anyway, that's me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ana. I'm from Portugal. I'm living in Braga, and how can I tell you? I have a lot of time with my nature, so I can say that have a relation with me. I have a relation with all above and also the nature. I have a mountain here nearly at about half an hour, and I go walking. One time, uh, I went to mountain all days long until a year ago, but after work was cut, the tree had 50 not million but cents years, 500 anos, 500 years, and I cannot say that I cry inside, but now I'm seeing that people are more sensible because in the near the trees that are cutting because in the way we have a big old trees and the policies, political rules of the city is to cut them because of the street. They are very close to the street. So at days ago, like a week ago, I saw a paper, and that in that paper was it was various papers. Maybe I found 5 or 6 near the tree. So there was right that the tree is alive in this place. Uh, in this place, it was it had a life being um, living here, and it's not anymore. So I suppose that like I'm turning myself more conscious because I think that the hug that I need to give at to trees that I pass in my way all the times that I call them father and mother for me, and this is appears that it calls me back by my intuition at maybe 7 years ago that I came to Braga because I was living outside and I was doing my profession, and because my close family was here, I come back, but now it's they are anymore. So um, my feeling of unity is more to the nature, to the others, to the present moment that I with my friends, with my lover. That what can I do in this present moment, and like you said, Yempeng, I think that we are cross a time that we need to 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 be a recipe to the things that we we can like you said, the silence, the attention, the observing, it's enough, because when we are seeing what things are happen, we are processing that information and upgrounding uh, other past information that we had about them, and afraid and guilty and ansiedade. For
Anxiety.
me, it's a thing, the emotions, these negative emotions that I have very close, because like I'm very so I think that I need to be for my humankind generosity. I think that I'm having I'm having people close to me that it's not so um, straight to my ideals and things, and so maybe I can feel myself um, a little not strange with me, but I think that that I'm not living my way by myself. So I think that my explore, it's more deep for my um, for myself to my with my meditation, with my um, uh, my loneliness, that it's solitude, because I have much time with my three cats and with my terrace that I have plants, and with my walks outside that I like do it, and I'm very also creative. I have much creativity with my imagination, and I think that I'm living for more for inside that for outside, but I need to change that, because I'm not really creating the things that I need to do, because I'm I have queries with what I have inside and to put it outside, but in the most of the times uh, uh, I'm doing that alone. So I need to have um, um, at least one person more to see and to agree and to participate and to join me and do it together. And I'm like this at many times. But I'm exploring myself and my deep water that I have inside. I'm studying fascia therapy, and I'm doing massage also, and I strengthen myself and meditate, like I said. And at 2 weeks ago, I had Reiki vocal with an Argentine girl that it was amazing, because I felt really my connection with my waters inside, between this side and the uh, uh, the, the chakra, the first chakra, like you know, and I was really moving myself, and it was great, because I'm with my voice. I could put me with vibrations that I could see my movements very very slow, soft, very like autonomous. No, that were my trunk was really making waves for itself, and it was a new feeling, and it was shared with the other. We were 30 persons in that alive that we have in with Nuria in Argentina, and there more people of other countries, and it was even in this digital mood, it was good for me to see that really the sound and we are all together connected because we were also in different places. So it was very, very, very good to see the power of the energy between us. It was good.
Thank you.
Thank
Wonderful.
you.
Claudia, thank you so much for sharing. You made me remember about a lot of different experiences at the same time, very rich. I would like to ask Lisa, who just joined us, if you would like to say where are you based, and we are talking about, hello, just saw you, oh, hello, wonderful. Yeah, we're basically doing breakout rooms. That's why when you entered, I brought you into the room because I'm the host. My name is Evgenia, and we are talking about how in the recent months, tuning with your feminine energy, where it's going, what kind of experiences we have, and how does it also link to being in nature, being with nature. In nature means the you know the nature around us, the ecology, the earth with all its beautiful expressions. So E and Claudia already shared. If I don't know how you feel just coming straight into the call, if you feel like you would like to share something, we have a few minutes inside this room, and we will return to the main circle in the call.
Yes, I couldn't come earlier, but I think it's so interesting. I just discovered this meeting this morning and I signed up. I am lucky. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, and I have been quarantining by myself for months, but I do have a beautiful yard, and so can get out into and have some large trees in my yard. So that's been so helpful and grounding. And I couldn't do it. I don't think I could do it if I was in a city environment without trees. That's about all I have to say.
Thank you so much, and welcome, welcome. I think you probably heard about this conversation through Three Sisters. Is that right, or did you find through Eventbrite?
Through Eventbrite.
Oh, interesting. I never get tired of being super surprised by Eventbrite, and I'm incredibly grateful to this platform. Recently, they sent me like a feedback form to fill in because I've been using it for years when I was doing physical events in London, in Moscow, in Lisbon, and now online. And it's always incredible because it really attracts the right people, the people I would have never met otherwise. So I'm really grateful to this platform. And maybe as before we go back to the main circle, I would like to just reflect a little bit on what all of you said and share a couple of things. For me personally, tuning with my feminine nature is also sometimes painful. So it does actually, and I'm totally accepting of that. And I'm aware that it's not just me, it's just sometimes it's hard to express and to acknowledge these things. It's painful not only in the physical sense, it could be painful really emotionally or mentally or even spiritually when something is trying to break out of the old shell. In the recent months, I've experienced several situations where the great feminine, what I call more like a cosmic feminine, is really trying to come through, to emerge, and also through my work, through my project. And at the same time, the suppression of it and the kind of, maybe I don't want to put like a tag on it, but okay, let's call it kind of patriarchal ways of the way we are with each other, even on the super simple human level. And what I realized yesterday actually was really interesting and beautiful experience, that I just decided for myself, I'm not gonna fight it anymore. And I'm just gonna surrender totally to the great feminine instead and let it support me really powerfully on this journey, and of course it's very I'm experiencing it in a quite emotional way. But on the other hand, whenever I have that deep profound experience, I go to nature and more. And by nature I mean any bit that I can call nature. It can be my garden, it can be a monoculture that is next to my house, it can be a beautiful forest which I have to actually drive quite some time. Right now I'm also working on a project which is looking at eucalyptus trees, which I used in Portugal. Claudia knows probably really well, quite a lot for monocultures. But I'm trying to open that whole perspective on how can we invite the tree once again and acknowledge, and instead of continue to abuse it, actually to really open to its beautiful power and to its beautiful presence. And I started getting basically dreams and messages from that tree, from different actually trees that are part of the same family. And that's how my experience of going deeper this year started, and I'm incredibly grateful. But I would agree, and I would reiterate once again what he said at the beginning is really about listening. And I think learning to listen once again, it could be, I mean, there's really endless possibilities there, because trees and plants and earth and oceans are continuously communicating with us. These big bodies of these big bodies, we call them our specific kind of human names, using the language like this is the forest, this is the ocean, this is the mountain. And then there are things that are little inside of them. And sometimes I get very overwhelmed, because when I go to speak to the forest or to hear the forest, sometimes there's like so many voices coming at me, and it's really powerful, but it could be also quite overwhelming. And I'm making my baby steps to learning to communicate and listen. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you. And yeah, I'm going to bring everybody back into the circle. We have a really beautiful circle of only women today. It's quite precious, I think. And we're going to meet with everybody once again. And I would like to ask you if anybody of you would like to, maybe in the way of the circle, to share just a few like things that you heard here in this room with the rest. Can somebody be the voice of this room? You're smiling. Would you like to do it? How do you feel about it?
I'm trying to think if I can remember.
Maybe just go with the flow.
Okay, well, I'll try that.
Thank you. That would be amazing. All right, so I'm going to close all the rooms and bring everybody back in, and look forward to meeting you on the other side. Yes, I think usually it takes like 60 seconds to come back. While we are waiting, Claudia, how did you find out about the event?
Sorry, you were talking with me?
Yes, Anna, sorry, I know, and her name is Anna, of course. You just have like a different name on the... How did you find out about the event?
Me?
Yes.
Okay. It was my first time, and for me it's great having some echoes with the others, because I'm thinking a lot in these questions of cosmic journey and consciousness and cure. And I think that we have to improve our um, shares, because we have yet enough things inside of us that we have to take take for transform it to share, because I think I'm stuck in so many thoughts that I have and cannot express myself, and I write and I talk with one or two persons, but I think in this way, in feminine with more women, I suppose it's better, because like Evgenia told, it's not so easy to 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 see our movements inside our hearts that hurts sometimes, our chest that opens and make some noises when we are more um, with more flexibility with others, with more um, uh, peace inside, and that the ambient around of us is a mirror about our feeling inside of us. I know that when we have the courage to to be ourselves, it's easiest, and we have happiness, and we have um, um, more gains, well, more gains for humankind, because I think that we have to cross the line of what is my mind of my 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 trips that I have inside of what is intuitive signs that I have, and that I that I catch and go for the beeps that have, and the calls that I have for do it, because the one way is the duty that we have to do, the things that we have to maintain, and the work that we have to make really with rules and that stuff, and the other it's our realization, and the world that we have to create, uh, and that is something that we have only to live. So I'm I want to tell you that I'm grateful to be here, because it's a gift that I can, for me, it's to express myself and to be with others. It's a great way to give um, to give one more step above. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. I feel today is a really interesting energy. I don't know if you're feeling the same, or if you're feeling similar. I feel it's quite a lot of movement, but at the same time, it's not easy today. I was not feeling well, but it's just me. But also, we have very few, and we are quite together now. It's, I think, 8 people, so some people had to leave. But I wanted to invite you, while we still have this energy of the rooms very strong. I would like to invite you, and thank you so much, Anna, for sharing your feelings and your observations. I would like to invite maybe one person per room to share, but at the same time, once we reflect, we can all share, because we are really 8 people. It's quite easy to do that. So It's open. Who would like to maybe go first and kind of share what you observed, what you heard, what stood out? Maybe you heard something that is kind of suggesting your truth and it's like a confirmation, or maybe you heard something super new and it was incredibly surprising for you. Somebody would like to start?
Okay, what I've heard was something wonderful because it was affirmative of being here, affirmative of going really deep, affirmative of vulnerability, affirmative of being human, but being interconnected and an extension of everything else. So that was quite beautiful.
Thank you, Ines. Thank you.
There's need for any more words. It was very affirmative, as I said.
Someone else would like to share? Who was in the other group, or in the other room? Not the same one that myself or Ines. Who was in the other third one?
We were.
Okay. How did you find sharing your experiences? How did you find the connection between you and what came up for you?
Shall I go? I'll go. So I think we all straight away realised that since we had to communicate, that we were a bit shy about communicating, and we probably all feel a bit like that anyway, because it's deep stuff, isn't it? It's really very deep. But what I found, and I think I sense that the other two with me felt the same, was an immediate connection between each other, which I often feel this with women or groups of women, that we work in a way to find those connections, and it confirmed lots of things that I strongly believe in, which includes what was just spoken about, this connection of all that we are with everything that is. For me, at the moment, the rise of the feminine is about healing, healing ourselves, generations of the suppressed feminine, the rise of that in everybody, male and female, and everyone. And in order to allow that to come forth, to heal the planet and to heal ourselves, and to feel that connection. And I guess I'm feeling it with all of you as well, just the fact that we're all here together. And there's a lot about trees as well. We had some beautiful conversations about trees, which is always wonderful in my mind. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Tanya.
Yeah,
Thank you for being the voice of your circle.
Well, I don't know. I hope I was a little bit. I'm sorry if I didn't say everything.
Oh, great. And who else would like to share just what is coming up now, just in the more like a free form, or maybe suggest going further, going deeper? How do you feel? How do you feel that tuning can potentially shift things? Can potentially shift things in terms of our our actions, our intentions, and our collaborations. What are these things that are emerging, that are already shifting, and how can we maybe support those shifts? Anything that maybe in your world, in your practice, in the work that you are doing is already working, or you see it's emerging and you feel it can be enhanced and supported? I would like to maybe ask Rebecca if it's possible for you to speak a little bit, because I heard you're in the arts, and I'm actually quite curious because I have, and of course Ines is also in the arts as an artist. Some of you I might not know, but you probably creative artists, poets, writers, and each of us have different ways of doing this. But I would like to maybe, I don't know, it's just coming up now because my experience working in culture and in the arts, it's quite dominated by a lot of male energy, not necessarily only from men, but also from women, and there is kind of status quo there. And whether we're talking about the art world itself and the art market, but there's like a whole big infrastructure that has been created, and there is very little the walls of the structure, they're quite rigid. And even right now, with a lot of organizations and a lot of artists and a lot of cultural agents wanting those walls to be more permeable and more soft to enter, for things to come and go and to start opening a bit more. But I still find that there's still very strong firewalls, and I'm just curious how you feel it, what's shifting for those who especially work with the arts, and what are your observations in the last maybe 6 months, if you could share.
Yeah, so I'm at the very beginning of my career as a curator, because I just finished my studies, and I just did some work, but I also feel this wall with this male energy, and but I think it's like a good time, because for women, I think, because it's like now there are some themes that are very connected to the feminine nature, that I think they are becoming necessary to also to every human, not just female. So I think that all this it's very urgent, all these themes about the trees, the reforestation, and I see this notion of care very connected to the feminine nature. So it's not just female and male. I also followed the feminist course of the Node Center. I saw that maybe you follow the environmental and activism course. Yeah. So during the quarantine, I followed these two courses, and I found them very connected, because I think that, this idea of taking care of our planet, of trees, but also the idea of life itself, it's something that belongs to feminine nature, just for this incredible experience that I just lived about the pregnancy and giving birth to another human being. I think it's not so far from a seed that grows and became a trees, and trees that became forests. So yes, I really hope that these times can bring us to a more open yeah, a more open way of seeing and of living this art system, which is yeah, which is still a little complicated. But for me, I'm trying to do my best in my little context, because I work usually also with female artists, and I'm really trying to I will try to teach my son to know, to accept, and to be proud of his feminine nature, because I think it's something very important also for a male. At the beginning, I was like surprised to discover that I was expecting a male and not a female, because for me this is very important. But then I realized that it has a very potential to just to try to raise a new boy that knows all these things. So it's not just abstract, but it's very practical for me now. Sorry, Evgenia, if I'm not, maybe I didn't talk too much about the heart system shows.
No, that's fine.
Like this, but it's like now I'm more, yeah, I think I'm more in this personal life thing, because I also want to do this very well. I want to be a present mother, so it's like I just put in standby all the other things about work. But I know that this personal experience will be very useful when I will return in the professional context. I hope. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. This is really beautiful. And I would like to acknowledge we are 9 people on the call. Where is your wonderful son? Next to you.
Exactly.
Okay, that is really beautiful. And somebody, I would like to offer in the last 10 minutes of this conversation something special that just came to me now, but we still have maybe another 5 minutes if somebody else would like to share something that's really coming up now, something that's being present and strong for you.
I'm also in the arts. I run a dance company. And yes, it's very challenging right now because we can't perform live. We did do a video project recently, and the company is for women. And from these conversations, I'm like, why don't I like emphasize that more than like trying to fight the system and always kind of looking for men to dance with us or to appeal to I mean, I want to appeal to the human experience, but maybe it's time to emphasize the female.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I think that right now, whether you are like a single artist, an organization, somebody who is working creatively, or, you know, doing whatever you're doing in life, is not easy for anybody. So for me personally, is a huge opening for collaborations. That's why one of the ways to expand the understanding of what a true collaboration can be are these conversations. And right now, Eternal Forest Project doesn't have a formal platform for artistic collaborations to happen, for artists to really enter and do something quite specific. But every day I'm going there and I'm exploring new ways. And actually, this is probably one of the conversations will be dedicated to that. How can we shift as an organization, let's say, if Eternal Forest was an organization, which is quickly becoming not a formal one, but it's a union of people, it's a community of people. There is a local circle in Ericeira where I live to create an Eternal Forest sanctuary. It's very concrete. It's 10 people who are regularly working together and empowering each other, and we are doing forest walks and meditations and art. We are shooting trailer right now. We are going forward with going and connecting with local municipality. There are these conversations that happen quite internationally, and among the people who are coming back to the conversations are a lot of artists, and a lot of artists are asking me, well, how can we be part of that? So Ines, who is going to leave right now, she's going to leave us. I'm really hoping that she can be part of this platform as well. And so with that, I'm also looking for ways of organization, collaboration, governance, and how this can really be done. And I'm not rushing into creating yet another like artistic platform for artists to collaborate or another art residency. I really am, and this is, I think, for me personally, part of tuning with the feminine is what are the new ways that are emerging of how can we do these things in a different way. And that's why I was so excited to see and to have Kathleen today, because I believe that the way Three Sisters are doing it is also quite special, and it's very different. And I'm going to tune in and explore more. So what I wanted to suggest, if you are not part of Three Sisters organization or the movement, you can connect. There is a website and it's in the event, and you can connect with Kathleen directly. She's more or less in charge of all the creative that's happening, and she's really holding that group together, and she's constantly inviting new creative people. And of course you can connect more to Eternal Forest. There's always more things that can be done. Right now I'm focusing a lot on Portugal because I would really love to create several Eternal Forest sanctuaries in Portugal before we really start going international. However, I am absolutely happy if you have an idea of an art organization, culture organization, land, property owner, foundation, any kind of potential where we could create an Eternal Forest sanctuary around the world. This is absolutely welcome, and I'm happy to have these conversations online. And for those who are still here, if you have a few minutes, what I would like to suggest is a very last thing to kind of sum it up and to raise a bit the energy, because today the energy I feel is it's really pressing. So a small exercise, a small game for all of us. We are seven powerful beings here. Is if we tune in into what's emerging today, and if we tune into our feminine nature and continue tuning with it, what is one word that you can share? And we can just go in a popcorn style. One person says, another person says something else, and you can just say one word, and then you can say more if something is coming. And what I would like potentially to create, if we can pick the rhythm, if we can go with the flow, with the rhythm, one word after another. Don't worry if you overlap with somebody else, you can repeat your word. And let's make like a poem thing. Maybe we can manage. So if you open your microphones, and we can try to go as long as we feel it's right. And when we feel it's right to stop, then we can stop. So if we all open our microphones, and Anna, I don't know if you're still with us. If you can't participate, you can just listen, that's fine. And maybe we pick up on things that happened in the circles and happened today in the room, in this big circle, and tuning into our feminine nature. Weaving.
Power.
Light. Cycles.
Connecting.
Water.
Openness.
Roots.
Embrace.
Revealing.
Seed.
Urgency.
Feeling.
Life.
Love.
Birth.
Connection.
Hugs.
Voice.
Listening.
Together.
Dawn.
Care.
Being.
Joy.
Green.
Flow.
Yellow.
Trees.
Deep.
Leafy.
Roots.
Water.
Fungi.
Bark.
Texture. Skin.
Coal.
Baby.
Breath.
Sisterhood.
Yummy.
Smile.
Together.
Holding.
Rain. Nourishment.
Yeah. Motherhood.
Love.
Trust.
Expansion.
Air.
Connection.
Passion.
Flight.
Home.
Earth.
Rooted.
Free.
Feathers.
Dance.
Free.
Sky.
Clouds.
Light.
Eyes.
Blue.
Bright.
Deep.
Flame.
Gratitude.
Us.
Yes.
Love.
Stuck.
I think it's good. We finished with love.
Yeah.
Thank you. Wonderful.
You.
It was really beautiful. Our little poem.
Yeah.
Mm. Yes, so thank you so much for being here today. It was a very special one, quite a lot of things unexpected, which is, I think, for me personally, is part of the flow and part of accepting things as they are. And I would like to see you all sometimes very soon again, if there is anything you would love to talk about personally in private, we can always have a call. If it's about Eternal Forest project or about your project and we could collaborate on something, I would be incredibly grateful for that. Otherwise, I think the next conversation we are having in September, it will be again on around the new moon, and I think it will be 25th or the 18th. I'm gonna announce it, and we are hoping to have Ines with us, who was with us here today. Ines is an amazing artist, and she's also a practitioner of deep listening. So we are hoping that it will be truly experiential, like it was planned to be today. I hope that I played the role for both myself and Kathleen. And yes, and I think maybe this is also an opportunity for Three Sisters to come back into one of these conversations, maybe in a different way. We'll see what happens. We'll see what the time brings to us. And yes, it's really good to stay connected. If you're not part of Facebook group of Eternal Forest, you can join, and you're all on my mailing list, so I'll be sending you some news. And yes, have a beautiful, beautiful evening, and I see you all very soon. And eternal gratitude from Eternal Forest.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye everyone also. Thanks.